Let's take a little look at GeoPackage layer names. This can be a little bit confusing if you're not used to using GeoPackages. On my screen, I have a shapefile layer of the rail network in Great Britain, and I'm going to save this as a GeoPackage. So to do that, I'll select it in the layers panel, I'll right click and I'll go to export and then save features as. From here, I'll just click the browse button and then I'll browse to where I'm going to save it to. I've browsed to where I want to save it and it's going to be called GB Rail Network. So I'll click save. And what happens then is if you look closely, in the file name section, you can see where I'm saving this to. And the GeoPackage is called gbrailnetwork.gpkg. In QGIS, what will happen is your GeoPackage will be given a layer name as well, and you can see how this is different. It's the same text, but it's not got the dashes in between the words. And this won't cause any problems with saving, but look what happens when I click on OK. It will add, and then in the layers panel on the left, we've got this name that I saved it with, and then that name afterwards in the layers panel that QGIS named it with. Now if I double click on this layer name, we can see in the source section the layer name is there. It's got the two different things, but that can be quite messy. So just a little tip, if I go back and save it again, right click, export, save features as, and go to the same folder. So I'll call this one a slightly different name, GB Rail Network V2, just so that I'm not overwriting the previous one. And I'm going to copy this file name and click save, and I'm going to paste it into the layer name box. There we go. Now the file name here matches the layer name, and when I click on OK, it will add to the layers panel and it's just going to have that name we gave it. So there's no duplication. This isn't a big deal really, but some people don't like the messiness of having two different names. And if I double click on it, I can then go to the source section of layer properties and I can see the layer name is just the single name we gave it. But let's say we've got a layer already, like this one, that's got two different names in it, and we want to change it once we've made it. Here's how we can fix that. So I'm going to remove this one from the layers panel, and then in the browser, I'm going to navigate to where it's saved. And remember, if your browser isn't visible, just go to View, Panels, and Browser Panel to turn it back on. So all I need to do here is navigate through the browser to where that data is stored, which I'll do quickly now while I pause. Now I've navigated to my D drive and I can see the two files I just created, GB Rail Network V2 and the previous one, GB Rail Network. Now I'm going to expand this and I can see that it's called GB Rail Network with no dashes in it. And then you can always expand to see all the fields. So what I want to do here is where it says GB Rail Network, if I right click on that and go to manage, I can choose rename layer. And then if I wanted to match what I called the file name, like with the dashes in it like this, that's all I need to do. And then I can click OK. So now we see the file name matches the layer name. And the reason for this is a bit more complex, but basically if you think of it, a GeoPackage is a database and it's got layers in it. And now if I drag this file with the left mouse button into the map canvas, it's going to add, and you see you don't have that duplicate layer name. So I've changed the layer name so it only says GB Rail Network. And you can do this with any of your layers. This isn't really a big deal, but I like to keep my layer name and my file name the same in these kinds of situations, and that's how you would do it. So hopefully, if this has ever puzzled you, that's a simple explanation that you can use to fix things in your own projects.